So let's just say if you have four display over here, right? This is your 7. We have four of them. And when you displaying like in this, when you see it on the board, on your left hand side, this is going to be called MSB, and this is going to be called LSB. And I think this is a little bit small, so let me expand it a little bit. So this is physically when you take a look on the board, like or like in general, when we seeing a list of a number, we just call the number that's at the left hand side is the most significant bit, and the number at the digit at the right hand side, the most right, is going to be the least significant bit. But this is okay. So this is where in hardware or yeah in hard. But over here, this is how you define it. Um, it in your code. Okay. Um, so this is the reason why I want to bring it up because it works kind of like not intuitively when you're defining a number to the port. For example, like PTP, um, it starts from PTP3 on your most left as the most significant MSB, and then the PTP0 should be your LSB, right? When you're defining that in your code. But somehow the MSB of that PTP port are actually used as to controlling the LSB of your LED segment. I mean LED 7 segment display. So it's kind of like working reversely. So if you want to, so I'll just put an example here. If we want the LSB display on, it means that we need to put one actually 0, 1, 1, 1. Give me a second to confirm that. Right now. Yes, that's correct. So you need to put this number into the PTP port because this digit over here control the LSB of the display, right? So it's
So
kind of like
the display would show 1110.
no, so it's only going to be show 1 at the very the okay, so this might confuse you, but this is actually the figure you put into the PTP to control which display is on and which display is off. So when you're putting a 0, you actually kind of like activate the display. Otherwise, it's going to be disconnect from the ground and it will not be turned on. So here we can see that in the PTP, this is the PTP. Let me move it down a little bit. So this is the PTP 3, PTP 2, PTP 1, and PTP 0. According to this 4-digit over here. And when you are basically fitting this 0 and 1 to kind of like control which display is going to be turned on and which display is going to be turned off. And you basically turn on display by putting a 0 into that PTP digit. In this case, we observe that the 0 is put under PTP3, right? The MSB of the PTP port. But because of the fact that because of the thing we put over here, which I marked red, the PTP3 is actually used to be control the least significant bit display on our board. So basically, when you're putting 0111 into the PTP, you turn on the LSB display instead of an MSB display. This is kind of like the thing that you need to keep in mind because it's not like, defined like intuitively, like the MSB open the MSB port, the MSB control the MSB display location. It's actually it's worked reversely. I'm not quite sure the philosophy of, or say the purpose of this designing the pin in this way, but this is just how it works on the board, like specifically the board we have on our hand right now. So this is the thing that you need to keep in mind, or you need to pay attention when you design your program. But like it's got to be like very obvious if you falsely turn on and off the display. Like once you run the simulation, you can tell that, oh, this is not the correct display I would like to turn on, and you will be figure it out and you're able to debug it at the time that you run your program. So it's nothing to be worried. This is usually you can catch it when you run the program, but I just want to giving you guys a head up about the situation here. So pretty much if you follow the thinking over here, you can get it correct. You can have it done correctly at your first time running the program.
So may I ask you this then? So I understand that our code that we put in, I know we may not know how to do that right now. Maybe you'll show us later, but the code that we put in is 0111. How would that display on our hardware?
So it's not going to be display anything on our hardware. It just thinking about this 0111 is the comment we put into the CPU to tell them which display should be turned on and which display should be turned off. So we haven't get to the point that how do we display a value using the display. But let me also write it over here. So I'll provide this writing into Beach for a little bit later. But let's just say let me draw something over here. So let me put it maybe in green so it's different. So thinking about the 7-segment display, I'm just gonna draw 2 of them. So maybe say like this. Oh. Okay. So thinking about there's like you can see this component into twofold. You definitely have a V plus, right, and a V minus, which is the ground. So this V minus, which is the ground, let me use 2 color to put this as well. The V minus. So the V minus, which is the ground, are controlled by PTP. And this is exactly this process over here. So basically, if the ground is like if this V minus, which is the ground, is not connected to the display, you basically have open circuit. And regardless of what you put in your voltage side, there's nothing going to be displayed because you're not forming a closed circuit. And on the other hand, the V plus side, this is going to be controlled by port B, and this is going to be controlled by port B to display numbers. Okay, so I think this is a little bit better in terms of explaining the component. So just thinking about the plus side and the minus side in terms of voltage, PTP is controlling if the component is connected to the ground or not. So the thing you put in it is just determining if the component forming a closed circuit or not. In other words, you are deciding if the display is going to be turned on if you put a 0 into the PTP, or it's going to be stay off if you're putting a 1 into the PTP. Okay? And on the other hand, this V plus thing, like how to control the numbers, is actually falling to this part over here. This part over here. that we are just about to take a look. So I'm just gonna go through this part a little bit, and then I'll start the QA section. Okay. So let's just take a look at this at first. And so it says, notice that so albeit the PTP0 provide the ground. If like it says here that the PTP0 provides the ground to the most left digit, and PTP3 is the most